strange series of events begins at St Mary's Church, Danedyke, when Mary Crowell, church organist, village schoolmistress, and spinster of the parish, is knocked to the ground by a mysterious intruder. Septimus Trelaw, the rector at St Mary's and also an ex-police detective inspector, tries to unravel the hidden secret of the Greek inscriptions on an old abbot's tombstone with the help of Angela Horton, the local infants teacher. His investigations lead Septimus and his friend, Henry Simmons, to some illuminated manuscripts at St Silas's College. The manuscripts suggest that the Danedyke cup, a valuable church relic missing since the Middle Ages, may be hidden somewhere in the relic chapel at St Mary's. But Septimus is ambushed at night by two villains, known as Armchair and the Major, who tear the relic chapel apart, and so Septimus believes, make off with the priceless relic. The next day, however, while Septimus is conducting a wedding ceremony, he is surprised to see two uninvited guests in the church, Armchair and the Major. The villains make off before the wedding ceremony is over, but their presence in the church at least has given Septimus food for serious thought.
Would you believe it, Septimus? The police have managed to find my old bus.
Good.
You never know your luck. They could nobble that pair of thieving beggars before they've had time to dispose of the Danedyke cup.
It's been ticking over in my mind, Henry. I'm not so sure the Major and his mate even found the holy relic.
Didn't find it? Well, after taking the place apart like this?
Well, why would they come to the wedding if they already had the cup?
In order to gloat, I thought you said.
Thinking about it, I was wrong. You see, it isn't the cup they're after. It's the hard cash they're going to get for it. Now, you take the word of an ex-copper, Henry. If they'd actually found the cup, they'd have been up and away and after the Reddies double quick.
All this damage, and you think it's possible they didn't even find it? Perhaps it wasn't hidden in here in the first place.
Oh, it's here all right, Henry. The abbot's tombstone says it's here. The manuscripts say it's here. Now, those two half-baked ruffians didn't know where to look for it, that's all.
Neither do you.
No, but they're a pair of clowns who didn't even suss it out. I mean, they're looking for a relic that's been hidden ever since the Middle Ages, and they took that altar apart.
So?
Well, all they needed was the common sense to lash out 25p for one of our brochures, and that would have told them that that altar was rebuilt in 1935.
Oh, yes.
They have the crass audacity to call themselves professional thieves. I tell you, Henry, if I couldn't make a better job of taking apart this relic chapel, I'd want locking up.
You probably would be, Septimus, if you start scouting around for it without so much as by your leave. Does Sir James know yet about the damage?
No, up to press, I've managed to keep the dreaded details from him.
What do you think he'll do?
His aristocratic nut, I shouldn't wonder.
He's treasurer of the church parochial council. You'll have to tell him.
Oh, I'll tell him. It's just that I'll choose a suitably tactful moment.
Vandalised the relic chapel.
Foul stroke, 4 away.
Yes, but last Friday was days ago. Why wasn't I told before?
You did spend the weekend in London, Sir James.
Yes, but look here.
Do you mind? Oh, dear. Seem to have snookered you.
Good shot.
Well played, Sir James. Black ball game.
I still can't get over it. Well, how much damage did those beggars accomplish in the relic chapel? Any idea what the repairs are going to set us back?
Rather extensive in answer to the first part and quite expensive with regard to the second.
This for the game, eh?
Right. Bad luck, Sir James. Well, I'm blessed.
I'd like to stress that I strongly disapprove the way you've been handling this relic chapel affair, Rector. No doubt if the bishop would see eye to eye with you either. rigging up amateur burglar alarms.
Well, you're not suggesting, are you, Sir James, that I should have sat back and let those ruffians get away with it?
I'm suggesting you should try and remember that you're not a policeman anymore, Rector. You're, well, a rector. Leave the police work to the police. They've got enough on their hands, heaven knows, without well-meaning but interfering busybodies sticking their noses in. It's up to each and every one of us to help the police force in every way we can. The hell do you want, Skingle? There is a tradesman's entrance.
Oh, I did ring the bell, but nobody... I was wanting a word with the rector. Miss Crowell reckoned I might find him up here.
A word in public or private, Edwin?
Well, in actual point of fact.
Yes, well, I really should be getting back to the rectory. Why don't you sling your bike in the back of the Land Rover and I'll run you over to the village?
Most obliging of you, Rector. Sir James.
Well, thanks for the game, Sir James. Your turn to win next time.
If you play the way you played today, don't they say it's a sign of misspent youth?
I prefer to think that somebody up there likes me. Oh, sit down, sit down.
Very kind of you, Rector.
My pleasure, Edwin. I'm afraid I can't help you much with your inquiries, though, apart from repeating everything I've already said to Chief Inspector Burroughs.
Granted, Rector, only as the crime in question was committed on my patch, I'm obliged in retrospect to enter a full report in the incident book.
Yes, I do appreciate that, Edwin.
Particularly as, according to my own investigations, the vandalising of the church was done by persons who are resident in the district.
Resident?
According to my own investigations.
Yes, but I've seen them, Edwin, on more than one occasion. They don't live here. They're strangers to the district.
That may well be, Rector, but they're staying somewheres hereabouts at the moment. I'll wager my warrant card on that.
What makes you think so?
Well, you know old Sumner Butterwick at Larkhill Cottage?
Oh, yes.
Now, it's common knowledge he's the biggest poacher in the county, right? Well, his lordship's always argy-bargy me about his trout and the odd bunny rabbit finding its way into somebody's stew pot. Yet old Sumner hasn't seen sight nor sound of a magistrate for a good 4 years. Unless you count that time when he was up for missing out on his old woman's maintenance.
And?
Well, I reckoned he were out and about and up to mischief on that night they did your relic chapel. So I was out myself then that night, wasn't I? Keeping a skeg out for old Sumner. And I can say this much, Rector, there wasn't a stranger's car parked within a mile of the church. I can swear an oath to that. You see, there's only the High Street and the Southport Road and the 3 lanes, right? Well, I cycled down the lot of them more than once. So whoever it was who turned your chapel over, they either had to walk a good 5 miles to get into the village, or else they're living in the area. My money's on the latter.
Edwin, you're a blessed wonder. Here we've had all of the top brass over from Liverpool Central and the village bobbies cracked it.
Have I really, Rector?
Well, near as damn it, except you've left out one possibility. Now, supposing they're living outside the area and didn't either walk into the village or come by car.
You mean an alternative means of transport, Rector?
I do.
Not a tandem bicycle.
Task Force Leader, calling Supreme Commander. Task Force Leader, calling Supreme Commander. Are you receiving me, Supreme Commander? This is Task Force Leader. Message received and understood, Supreme Commander. This is Task Force Leader, signing off. Over and out. What the devil have you been up to?
Target practice, isn't it? Keeping my hand in, didn't I?
Oh. It was a false assumption on my part, then, that your sole intention was to bring the entire Lancashire Constabulary charging in around our ears. May I inquire as to how you acquired the artillery?
No. Found it, didn't I?
Well, you'd better lose it, PDQ. You are as well aware as I am, Armchair, that our employer eschews the use of firearms.
You can chew it, Cocker, swallow it or spit it out. I don't give a monkey's what he chews. This is my shooter. And I am hanging on to it.
Well, you can convey that information to our benefactor in person, Armchair. we have been summoned into his august presence. We are going to spend a day on the billowy briny.
Ah, terrific. I'm cheesed off with chuffing up and down this canal. One thing though, Major, when we do meet the big man, you will keep stum, won't you? About me having this shooter.
Oh, I don't know. I'll give it serious thought.
You will do, Major. Because if you don't, I will have you. I will have you, Major. In no uncertain manner.
Hey Brian, you want to come into cycle with us this afternoon? Get to the pictures in our kids. Can't this afternoon, Blackstone, can I? Got to go back for evening service. Biscuit, I am. There's doing 2 James Bonds at Regal. If you don't get back, we'll have our evening service.
The Lord be with you.
And with thy spirit.
Yeah. Angie?
Oh, thanks. That's how they managed to keep one jump ahead of us all the time.
A boat.
Yes, they must have sailed up the canal every morning and kept us under surveillance all day long.
Yeah, no one would have spotted them down that stretch of the canal.
Then, whenever they felt the coast was clear, they got to work on the relic chapel.
Do you think they'll come back?
No, I doubt it. But it does give us a chance to track them down.
Find out who they hired the boat from, you mean?
Now, if you came up here as a stranger, Tom, where would you go for a cabin cruiser this early in the year?
There's only a couple of places. Most of them are still closed down for the winter. There's Macklin's. They're the biggest. They've got a few boats out. One of them ran a big end last Tuesday. Had to drive out to the coast, put it right.
Who's the other one?
Jones and Stoker. Oh, there's Dunwoody and Sons down by Granger's Lock. That's your lot.
Is there likely to be anybody knocking around the yards on a Sunday?
For sure to be. They do a lot of their work with casual labour. You know, garage folk like me. Why were you thinking of shooting out there this afternoon?
No, why not? If young Bloxo can hope to get a couple of James Bonds under his belt before evensong, I fail to see why we can't pull in 2 or 3 boatyards.
Come again.
We'll see you on Sunday, anyway. That's the last one, is it?
That's it.
Hang about, it's not, you know. What about old Warner Baxendale?
Oh. He's not as green as she's cabbage looking.
Thanks a hump.
Who's Warner Baxendale?
Grace of Southport. It's her birthday, she is. Of course she is. I've got an invoice somewhere if I can just come to grips with it. But who did you say you were again?
Septimus Trelaw, rector of St Mary's.
Vicar, eh? It's as I say, next time I go to church, they'll have to carry me in. Got a bit war, you know. Vicars, padres, church parades. And you had to go, you know, whether or not. Now, whenever all that struck. I don't want all that bothered about the army, either. Too many flipping officers giving orders.
Well, one of the men we're looking for was an officer. At least he says he was.
Oh, him? Well, you should have said. Talks all la-di-da. Flower in his buttonhole.
Yeah, that's him.
Yeah, we'll more suit it for a wedding, as for a canal cruise. I said to him, I said, you're more suited for a wedding than a cruise up canal.
Did he give you his name when he hired the boat?
Well, of course he did. And his address. I won't let him have it else, would I, lad? That's what I'm saying. I've got an invoice if I can just come to grips with it. Yeah, fancy waistcoat, flower in his buttonhole. I can see him now. And his oppo. Big ugly merchant. Had him up blower only yesterday. Asked me to keep boat another fortnight. Where the hell did I put it? Definitely here somewhere. Hey, I'm going crackers. I've got it here all the time with my special filing system.
Thank you.
This is very nice of you, Septimus. Thank you.
My pleasure. Little celebration.
Oh, yours are chuffed about. Arthur Smith. Sounds like a right come on to me.
Yeah, I'm sure it is.
But if the Major gave old Warner a false name, what about the address? Won't that be false as well?
True again. If 23 Lampeter Road, Kensington really does exist, I very much doubt it would prove to be the lodging place of either the Major or his dodgy chum.
Well, I'm as baffled as Tom is then. What have you got to smile about?
Haven't either of you tumbled to the significance? They want the boat for another couple of weeks. What does that mean?
Surprises.
It proves my point. They haven't got the Danedyke Cup. It's still hidden somewhere there in the relic chapel. The only possible reason they could have for keeping the boat is they're going to have another shot at getting their grubby hands on it. And that gives me another chance to clobber them.
Personally speaking, I'd have been happier if we'd managed to find out who they are.
I can tell you who one of them is.
Go on then, Cyril.
Well, those prints we picked up in your church. Well, most of them were naff, to say the least. Well, you know yourself, you don't get a lot of joy from granite. But there were a couple of nice ones on the altar, though. You can't get a better surface for prints than a bit of marble.
Wouldn't be trying to keep me in suspense, would you, Cyril?
Well, a big fella is Ronnie Newbound.
Newbound?
Thought that'd make your eyes water. Alias Charles Edward Newbound. Alias Armchair Newbound.
How long's he been back in circulation?
Well, you tell us you nicked him. Manslaughter, wasn't it? I'm surprised you haven't recognised the geezer.
It was a long time ago, Cyril. Armchair Newbound, eh? I'd hoped they'd thrown away the key on that one.
Watch it, Septimus. Where's your Christian charity? You're talking like a copper.
Dog collar doesn't make me perfect, Cyril.
You will agree, though, that it does make you a rector. Ah.
I don't think I quite follow you.
I think you're miles ahead of me. I don't want you trying to tangle with Newbound. Look, he's your 100%, 28-carat, genuine nutter.
Wouldn't argue with that description.
Oh, fantastic. We're on the same wavelength at last. Now, you stick to christenings, weddings and funerals, and I'll stick to nicking villains. Have we got a deal going?
Deal?
I don't want to see your name in the obituary columns, not yet a while.
Thank you.
A knocked-off vicar on the batch wouldn't do my promotion cause any good. The top brass would be down on me like a ton of bricks. I like the easy life, Septimus. Saturday nights, take the wife to the thatch mill for a bite of dinner. Sunday morning, she expects to see me in the garden with the motor mower. If I had to go into the office at the weekends on a murder hassle, my old woman would make my life a misery. So, if you get any leads on those two jokers, Septimus, you do not follow it up yourself, right? You tell me. Now, I want your solemn word on that.
Right, gents. Liver, onion sprouts and mash for the rector. Cheese and biscuits for the detective inspector. I've stuck an extra pat of butter on. You can pretend it's your birthday.
Don't mean vicar what he had in here. Termites, a death watch beetle.
A rather larger species of domestic vermin.
Somebody talking about me?
Henry, thought this was your day for pregnant mums.
It is. I'm taking a circuitous shortcut. Septimus, I'm the bearer of great news.
Huh?
The missing page from the Danedyke Gospels has turned up.
What? Where? How? Who told you?
I've had Empson, the librarian chap at St Silas's College, on the phone. It's there, Septimus.
Oh, it wasn't there before. Where did it turn up?
Empson will explain that. I shouldn't wonder. The point is, do you want to see it?
Oh, I've got to, Henry. Double quick. It's the last piece in the jigsaw. Can we go today?
Not me, I'm afraid.
No?
No time, pregnant ladies wait for no man.
What?
Millie Borrowgate went into maternity at 4:45 this morning.
Oh.
There's nothing to stop you driving over to Lancaster, is there?
No. Do I need to ring, what's his name, Empson first?
Anticipating your eager enthusiasm, Septimus, I've already told him to expect you.
Thank you.
Oh, I'll take those stitches out before you go.
Now, you're quite sure, Mr. Empson, it is Matthew chapter 24, verse 15.
Yes, yes. I mean, I really should have guessed. After all, that's what librarians are for. Besides which, I never did have much of an opinion of 18th century bookbinders. The page had been misbound. Simple as that. It's in volume 12, bound in at the end, as if it were a colophon. It's a remarkable picture, don't you think?
Well, actually, I haven't had a chance to look at it yet, Mr. Empson, have I?
Ah, but you must. It's an exceedingly remarkable picture. Now, allow me to place the glass for you.
Thank you.
I've never come across anything like it. Now, why has he got Lazarus in this picture? It is Lazarus, same one as the one in the St. John illustration. Come to that, Mr. Trelaw, why on earth is he coming out of the pillar?
Sir Roger Carruthers' statue.
Sorry?
Sir Roger Carruthers' statue. Yeah, they took the tomb apart, but it wasn't in the tomb. It was in the statue. That's where Abbot John hid it, and that's where it is today. Mr. Empson, you're a blessed marvel.
Well, it was the professor's assistant who actually...
Hackenbaum's assistant?
Yes, I told you about him the last time I... what's his name?
Smith. No, Smith.
Sure. Oh, Smith. Military chap.
And when was he here?
First thing this morning, I phoned your...
Oh, if you'll excuse me, Mr. Empson, I must get back right away.
You have to. We've recently acquired a black letter Lutheran Bible with some extremely interesting annotations. They're in Greek. I had hoped... Shh. Sorry.
I wondered who on earth it was.
Well, you might. Major's onto the secret, too.
What on earth are you doing?
It's hollow, Angie. The one hollow space in here that Armchair and the Major didn't take apart.
So?
Well, the Matthew illuminations show that it's in here.
The Danedyke cup? In there?
Well, if it isn't, then the ghost of Abbot John is about to enjoy a particularly cruel joke. So, keep your fingers crossed, Angie. Hope and pray. That's got it. Yeah. Something in here. Angie, I think we found the Danedyke cup. Light of day after all these centuries. That's what the pilgrims came here to worship, Angie. Legend says it touched Our Lady's lips. True relic. Abbot John kept it safe all those years ago. And when Sir Roger died, he hid it in the tomb. And we found it.
And I'm evident. Don't move, Trelaw. or on my mother's grave, I'll have you too.